sometimes ponder, is it better to be blissfully unaware of what we're facing as a country, or to dive in like a lot of people in this room do on a regular basis? Mr. Nikhil,
How you doing, Mr. Ford?
fabulous.
All right.
We got time, and I need you to stall.
What do we need?
We've got 3 more minutes. I'm going to need 5 more after that.
5 more minutes after
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll try to start around 7:35.
Yeah.
Pat, now's your chance to shine. We need someone to stall.
Oh, you got it. I'm ready to go, friends. All right. So how's everybody doing this evening?
It's 76 degrees in the Florida
Shut up,
Keys
Stephen.
and
Wow.
beautiful weather.
No one
All
likes
right.
you. No one likes you, Stephen.
Look, I left El Paso to come to Kentucky and everything's covered in ice right now.
See, this is what makes me the most hated man in this room at the moment.
Look, I left El Paso where it's 70s all week. Great evenings, spend it outside with my dog and my cats, letting them run around. And now I'm over here with ice, just stuck in a hotel room.
Are you on the road pitching pitching El Paso?
Absolutely. I am in Lexington for a religious conference called RCMA.
Okay.
And I am with our big corporate people, so I got to do extra good while I'm here to make sure they're happy too.
How often in your business do you travel? I mean, I would
I
imagine
think
it seems glamorous at first, but yikes.
probably at least twice a year. I know August, the first 3 weeks, constantly going to be out all over the East Coast.
I'm actually ready when you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Can you send me the agenda? I had it and now it's buried in some email thread somewhere.
It is hearing from presentations from the 3 venues,
Do we have
discussion
enough?
by the LNC, and
Okay.
then move to vote via OPA vote to open for 48 hours, majority vote. If no
Got
one
it.
gets a majority, move to a second ballot, dropping the lowest vote getter.
And are representatives from all 3 resorts here?
I have no idea.
Is Mr.
Okay.
McGee here?
Who?
Mr.
Mr.
McKee?
McGee.
Oh, no.
There was a question about one of the organizations. I believe it was Frisco. We lost the window on February,
Hmm.
so I know representatives are here from El Paso. Is there a representative here from Richmond? I see a 703.
That's Bill Redpath.
Oh, okay. Tom,
Casey,
you're
you
representing.
here. Casey just popped on from Richmond, and I'm also from Richmond. Casey's taking the lead.
Okay. All right. And who are our representatives from El Paso?
That
McGee's
would be
about to enter the
myself.
room. Sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, who's Jose Barajas? Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have a representative here from Fresco? All right. Well, I guess we'll start in no particular order. I'll just we'll pick a venue to start in just a few minutes, but I think we should have enough LNC members here to get started, I would hope.
We do.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, it is 7:31 p.m. It is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. My name is Stephen Akela, Chairman of the Libertarian National Committee, and I'll be calling this meeting to order. Mr. McMahon, whenever you'd like to start with roll call, please.
Mr. Bowler. Mr. Bowler. Mr. Bost. Mr. Bost. Mr. Chatterton. 1 second. Mr. Chatterton. Vice Chair Dar.
Present.
Mr. Dassing.
Here.
Mr. Bracco. Mr. Bracco. Mr. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Weir. Mr. Weir. Miss Hayes. Miss Hayes. Miss Robson.
Here.
Mr. Nebel. He's joining. Mr. Nebel.
Here, present.
Mr. Lamb. I'm sorry, was that Mr. Lamb?
Mr. Lamb is here.
Thank you. Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin. Mr. McGee.
Present.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson. I am present. Was that somebody? Was that Mr. Johnson? Mr. Koffel.
Present.
Mr. Hirsch. Mr. Hirsch. Treasurer Redpath.
I'm here.
Mr. Thompson.
I'm here.
Miss Cowart. Miss Cowart. Mr. Vincent.
I'm here.
Mr. Watkins. Mr. Watkins. Chair Nikela.
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have 13 voting members present.
All right. Excellent. We'll now be moving to the adoption of the agenda. The chair is now seeking a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Is there, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda?
Yes, Stephen.
Sure.
I just had a point of information. If we wanted to maybe entertain the Orlando venue like we talked about back in December, would we need to amend the agenda, or can we just maybe mention that and maybe go over what we would need to present that at a later date?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
on the agenda, the third item was to move to a vote within 48 hours for the site selection. So I believe if we were going to amend the agenda today to include Orlando, they would need to be present and present at this time.
Okay.
Mr. Bost has come into the room, by the way. So we're at 14 voting members.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Yeah, so I mean, today we're going to be making hearing from the presentees and then moving on to an email ballot on the two locations, or three locations rather, to pick one. So any other discussion on the agenda? All right, barring any objection, the agenda is approved. And I would ask, we'll start with, why don't we start with El Paso, and we'll finish up with Richmond, and if Fresco drops in, then we'll hear from them too. But is it Josie? Josie Bras?
Yes,
So how you
Josie
pronounce
and the Pussycats, Josie Rosie, whatever you'd like.
Perfect. Well, tell us a little bit about El Paso and about the venue, and we'll open up the floor to questions once you finish your presentation, and you can answer any questions from the gallery.
Absolutely. I do have a PowerPoint ready. Am I able to share?
Absolutely. Mr. Secretary, I'm not sure if you have to take some kind of action to be able to. Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. Things want to cooperate, possibly. All righty, everybody. Well, thank you so much for your time this evening. I greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate your time looking over our proposal. And El Paso is ready to welcome you. You are going to have an amazing experience in our community. So let's kind of get started, talk about why you should be coming to El Paso. We have a lot of engagement from our local chapter. Visit El Paso is ready to give you an experience like absolutely no other. One of the reasons we should definitely start looking into our region is that it would be the first time you held it in a binational city. We have a lot of local support, great hotel rooms, some super rock star status. We are ready to buy your love and do whatever it takes to bring you to El Paso. So one of the things that I'd like to point out is that we are a binational city. So that does provide a lot of openness, individual liberty, a global perspective, active cross-border cooperation. And so it would really highlight everything kind of going on currently and show people kind of what it's really like to be in a binational city, given everything that's going on. So let's talk about accessibility and getting to El Paso. We do have a number of direct flights. I understand coming east, going west is a little rough. You usually have about one stop, but we do have all major carriers in our airport. It's easy to navigate. You have a gate for just American and then everybody else on the other side. Getting your luggage is extremely fast. There's not a whole lot to go around, and it's very accessible from the area. Next, I'd like to talk about some of the group travel discounts. You can do it for 10 or more people, get some discounts with Southwest, American, United. I believe Delta is as well, but they just didn't kind of follow up with me on anything. So we're just going to keep harassing them until I get more info. Getting around El Paso and your accommodations. What I'd like to highlight right now is that we do have a number of hotels. However, they are not connected to our convention center. They are directly across the street and it's very easy to get there. What would probably be your headquarter hotel is going to be Hotel Paso del Norte. They're the ones who offered you the most rooms, and they are currently offering 1,470 rooms for the total room night. The rate is $179. I can absolutely harass my sales manager there to bring it down if that's going to be an issue. They're a great hotel partner. You have a lot of history in our community here. Downtown is filled with historic buildings, so you can see things, just little things to pick out. So Henry Trost was our architect pretty much for all of the really cool things downtown. So each kind of one of his buildings has a little surprise that you can look out and get. Directly next to it is going to be the Plaza Hotel. This is a Michelin Key hotel. It's held it for 2 years now. It's completely independent. This one would probably be good for some of our higher ups in the organization. I know the rate is about 205. I'm working on getting that down with them as well. But this one, again, history, a lot of things going on in there. Great food. Their walk there is to die for. And then we have your courtyard, Doubletree, Indigo, Staten House, and a loft. These are all within 5 or less minutes of walking to the convention center. If we need to get some help and get some transportation going as well, we can absolutely look into that. But we have a lot to offer. In regard to the downtown itself, it is very walkable. You can get around really easily. Just again, everything's like a straight shot. You can pretty much see everything from where you're going. Again, we are the 3rd safest large city in the nation. And then we do have some streetcars that we brought back in to help everybody get around. So in regard to that, we put in a lot of money to bring back our streetcars. So we actually have the original shells from there. So the upside is that they've been fitted with AC, Wi-Fi, wheelchair lifts, so everybody has the ability to access them. They're completely free to use. You see everybody from locals, people out of town, just trying to get a different experience. It takes you around the downtown area, up to the university where there's more food and shopping options for you. Let me get talking about our venues. So we're looking at doing everything inside of our convention center. So we have over 133,000 square feet of usable space. Our halls would be A, B, and C, about 80,000 square feet, and it's all columnless. We have all of the breakouts ready to go. So we actually are a non-union facility, so that does help save on costs there, but we are going to be sponsoring the venue rental as well as the Wi-Fi. And then I don't know if we had a chance to touch base on this, but if there's any opening receptions or things like that, we are happy to take care of that and show you a great time. Some of the things that weren't in the original proposal that we do have options for that we used for The Texas Democrats they came with would be some of like our smaller rooms. So these are like mid-sized caucuses. This one is across from the convention center in our admin building where we work. So it's a new facility called the Ocotillo Room. You get some natural light, good meeting space. It's very flexible. Right next to it, we also have the Agave Room, ideal for something a little bit on the smaller side, but it's just a great new facility. We also have historic theaters that you can use. These are great for large caucus meetings. Um, in addition to a historic theater, so it keeps people engaged. And this is all again across the street or literally adjacent to the convention center or across the street from the convention hotel. But again, large caucus meetings, it keeps people engaged because it gives them a different environment, which is really important. Talking about El Paso as a city reborn, one of the things we'd like to highlight is La Nube. So it's Spanish for the cloud, but is a STEAM museum. But it also makes for a great offsite venue. They also have meeting space available, gives you the option to stop and be a kid for 5 seconds, shoot paper airplanes, add wind resistance to knock people out, go down a giant climber and watch people eat it on the way down. It's the best part. We also have our brand new Mexican American Cultural Center. They have an amazing rooftop. So it's got a lot of lights. It looks great at night. There's a theater for another small to mid-sized caucus meeting. And then you can do some cultural art exhibits that they have. They even have like a demo kitchen, so you can put a couple people in there, have them make something simple like some guac and tortillas, give them a different experience. Another option we have right next to us is our University Park. So this is home to our AAA baseball team, the El Paso Chihuahuas. Excuse me, I don't know what happened there. Oh, there we go. So they source for the San Diego Padres, and then it also doubles as our minor league soccer team. So they do have all of the suites up there that we can use out if there's a game going on at the time. We can look at doing that, get some discounted tickets for everybody. That's also another great meeting space. They have a bunch of foods on one side and kind of like the VIP section that we can look into. So they have a lot of options to keep people engaged, make people excited about coming. I know sometimes that's a difference. You hear El Paso and do you really want to come there? And I was like, this will be a reason to come. It'll be a great experience. It'll be a lot of fun for sure. One of the other things I want to highlight is going to be our San Jacinto Plaza. So this is our main plaza in the downtown. You have things like giant chess, ping pong, there's a little cafe there, but one of our favorite things to highlight about it is that we have a statue of 3 alligators. So way back in the day, one of our mayors was given a prank gift as alligators. So they lived out there in that plaza for a good period of time. And then eventually they had to say, okay, time to take them to the zoo because people kept feeding them things that they shouldn't eat. It wasn't, oh, they're going to hurt somebody. It's like, they're going to get real fat and that's going to be a problem. So what I'd like to do is share just a little bit of our culture with you right here with a little quick video. Can you all hear that?
I
No,
can't hear it. I don't know
we
if
can't. When
No.
you're doing the share, there's another button to also share audio.
That would make sense. Today, this will cooperate with me. Apparently today is not that day. Let me see. Sorry about that. Let me try now. Nothing. Oh man. Okay, I'll send that to you all as a different, but it just gets to highlight a lot of the great food, the hotel roofs. We have the hiking, mountain biking, historic missions. We have people that can go and enjoy nature, bird watching. There's literally something for everybody. Great food, great drinks. I mean, we have a Lucchese boot store because we make them in El Paso, and our mayor has a speakeasy that you get to from said boot store. So there's a lot of different experiences that we have for everybody. That main hotel, they do have a cigar room, so we can look at doing cigar rolling, tasting rooms for tequila everywhere. The main hotel just opened up their barrel room. With that one, they do tastings for tequila, mezcal, bourbon and whiskeys, and then as well as wines. But we have wineries in the area. I'm telling you, we can do anything. If somebody wants a dive bar with great chicken wings, it's right behind, and then we can do something over the top if somebody's looking for fine dining. There's truly something for everybody in El Paso. So with that, I'd like to thank you, and we'll see you in El Paso. Do we have any questions at this time?
Jose, I have a few questions.
Layer on me.
As far as the room rate, well, a couple questions. What is our obligation as far as filling the rooms? So what is the attrition rate on those? And also, how close are the different buildings from the convention center?
Absolutely. So attrition rate from what I've been seeing in their proposals is approximately 80. But we can always touch base with each individual one. We'll set up a contract with each hotel. That way you can figure out what works best because they are very flexible. We can harass them into doing whatever we need. In regard to the distance, everything is centrally located in the downtown. Um, but nothing is more than 5 minutes. The furthest one would be the Hotel Indigo. And that one's maybe 5 minutes if you're waiting for those lights to change so you can use the crosswalk.
And then the next question I had is, do you guys have any requirements for AV? Do you require in-house AV or other services? Or any kind of union?
Non-union
Type.
facility, we are completely in-house for everything. We do AV, we do your catering, all of our labor is there. If you want to bring outside AV, we're more than happy to work with you there. We just can't kind of touch anything. But whatever works for your budget, we will make happen.
Mhm. And Pat, I would say before we get to a vote on the OPA vote as well, I think we ought to share any contractual information with the LNC so we can look over if we have any further questions. It'll give us enough time, I'm sure, to get a hold of our presenters of these different resorts and any in-house discussion we need to have if there's other questions that come up. I'm sure I'll have more questions in a minute, but I do see a couple hands raised. Mr. McMahon and Mr. Dar. Mr. McMahon, go ahead.
On the hotels, do any of the hotels have accessibility, but very specifically wheelchair roll-in for shower, bathroom, things like that?
Yes, sir. All of them do have at least one accessible room like that.
Okay.
But they do have multiple accessible rooms.
If we can confirm that, because we've had issues in the past where a hotel has said they're accessible, and then we find out that it's because they have hand grips, but not like a
No.
roll-in shower, which is not the same as a walk-in shower.
Oh,
So if we
absolutely.
can confirm that and report back to us, within 48 hours, that would be great.
Yes, sir. I'll get that to you tomorrow morning.
What is the government theft or taxation on room nights in El Paso?
Oh, I like that. So our current hotel occupancy tax rate comes out to 17.5%. Part of that comes into play with that Southwest University Park. So that's where some of that taxation comes in. So it is high overall, but everything kind of tends to even out based off the hotel rates.
And I know it's Texas, so this may be a stupid question, but
Go
what
for
are
it.
the firearm carrying restrictions both in the convention center, the hotels, and on the street?
Open carry on the street, hotel as well. Convention center is no firearms. However, if there are concerns and we do need to bring some in, I can always touch base with my operations team and CEO to see what we can do to facilitate that. Because there's times where we just put in memos and say, okay, we're just going to make it work.
It's more about our members prefer to be able to open carry anywhere and everywhere they are, or conceal carry, but to be able to carry.
Okay, I will touch base with my CEO and get that confirmation to you ASAP.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions.
Mr. Dar, then Mr. Ford. Mr. Dar.
I forget, what is the F&B minimum for El Paso?
Our F&B minimum, I believe it's, let me get my notes. I currently have it, where did it go? 40K?
40K?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 40K. And the venue with rental is sponsored. Okay, and Evan asked all my other questions, so thank you.
Perfect.
Mr. Ford.
I wonder if you could speak to, first of all, on the technical side, reservation policies at the primary hotel. Are you expected to put down a big deposit? And you may have to get back to me on that, which is fine. And do you have to, is there a large security deposit requirement at the hotels? I don't know if you know that off the top of your head. And then my other,
Security deposits would be $100 per day. However, we can ask to see if that can be waived. And then when it comes to the hotel contracting on that deposit, that again can be discussed with that sales manager to see what we can do to cooperate and get if there's something lower or just waive it altogether, we can see what we can do with them.
and then, as importantly, I wonder if you could speak to restaurant availability. We've had some wonderful deals and wonderful conventions, but one of the challenges has always been immediacy of restaurants, how close, how far. Uh, we love hotels. We love staying in hotels. Hotel restaurants can be pricey. We just did a convention in DC a couple years ago, which was a beautiful hotel, but wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking distance to non-property restaurants, and what kind of range?
Ranging anywhere from there's like a small market that we all go and get our lunches at that's like $5 for a great meal, but we could do everything from high end. There's probably, I'm trying to go through the list. There is at least 5 or 6 different restaurants that immediately come to mind that don't include the hotel restaurants.
Okay.
And Mr. McMahon had another question. I did have a few. As far as exhibit space, usually we have exhibit space that individuals can purchase for tabling, for whatever they want to use it for. Maybe they're running for office or, what have you. What does your exhibition space look like? And also, do you have, and I think you went over it, but what does your breakout space look like as well for different, maybe we have multiple classes going on at the same time, or if somebody, especially in a presidential election year, typically candidates will rent out spaces, as well as suites, of course, but they might want their own space close to the convention hall, etc. What are your options for those spaces?
Breakout spaces, we can do 17 total within the convention center. And then there's 2 more in our admin building directly adjacent to it. The other options would be using the 2 theaters that we have, the Abraham Chavez, which again is just across, like not even across the street, it's adjacent to it. And then the Plaza Theater, which would be another option. And that again is in front of the Plaza slash Hotel Paso del Norte. So they would be right there to do that. So when it comes to meeting space, that's not a problem. Exhibitors, I know we have all 3 halls dedicated to you, so we can figure out with one of our event managers where you'd like to put them. You have 80,000 square feet of columnless space, so we can put them there. We can put them in the main lobby as your entrance. That's usually something that we do. There's another side lobby called the Paso del Norte. That one has a lot of natural light. We can put them there as well.
And what's included in the F&B, or is there a separate fee for each space?
So each space, it's all included. So as long as you hit the 40K, then the rental will be waived.
Okay, and that's for the whole weekend, plus or minus sort of the probably
Correct.
Friday through. Okay. Do you, 2 more questions.
Yes.
The Wi-Fi situation, what's your Wi-Fi cost and how many devices can it reasonably handle?
I need to get back to you on what it
Okay.
can reasonably handle, but we are
Okay.
going to be sponsoring your Wi-Fi for the entirety of the
Okay.
building for your meeting spaces.
Got it. And gratuity is it what's the gratuity charge on the 40K?
I don't believe we have the gratuity charge on there, but I can get back to you on that one as well.
And is the gratuity taxed?
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
Is the gratuity taxed?
Let me get that clarification from our F&B manager just to be sure. I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I do believe it is.
Okay. Okay. I'm assuming it's a sales tax.
I would assume.
And then I had one more question for you. Oh, I want to see if you can please speak to whoever it is. I'd like to get the attrition down to 70%, assuming we
Okay.
rent out all, most or all of the spaces. And the reason for that is because that's what we currently have with our hotel in Grand Rapids is 70% across 4 or 5 different spaces. And what I notice is what happens is that the spaces closest to the actual convention center are going to max out at 100%. So,
Absolutely.
so it's easier for us if we can get a lower attrition rate. We're hoping to, fill everything out completely, but you end up at the tail end, the farthest hotel, you might get a lower attrition rate, which, and we've sold at all your other hotels. So please see what you can do about that. And I will go ahead to Mr. McMahon and then Mr. Ford. Mr. McMahon.
I have two simple questions and one very complicated question.
Yes, sir.
The first two is, what are the hours of operation for the restaurants and any cafe or place like that?
Restaurants range from about 7 to 8 a.m. all the way up to about 10, 11 p.m.
Okay. Is there a cafe, coffee shop, Starbucks
There's a
within the
Starbucks.
property?
So there is a cafe in each of them. There's a Starbucks across the street from all of them. And then there's a couple different coffee shops throughout the way.
And what time is the average that they would close?
Usually around 5.
5 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just know it trying to get a drink in hotels tends to be awful if you don't want to sit at the bar. And so that's a negative mark, not being able to get a cup of coffee or a drink, non-alcoholic beverage in the evening without having to wade through the bar.
Absolutely.
The next question is for suites at the main hotel. What do those look like? What are we being offered on those? That sort of thing.
Absolutely. I'm pulling their page up for their proposal. Give me just one moment. I apologize for the delay. It's like I'm working off my hotspot and it's doing something special. Would it be, I don't want to hold up any additional time. Would it be possible to forward that information to you
Yes. Yeah.
tomorrow morning?
The other one is also probably something that was going to need to be forwarded. This is the complicated question, and please note other presenters of this question. We may need to work with another organization to be responsible for certain aspects of the convention, such as the vendor area, maybe some of the breakout rooms. We cannot sublease it to them. So it would need to be something in the line of, hey, we need to take this off of our contract and move it to a third party that we work with, that they would then be responsible for. Is that something that we can work on with you guys over the next 2 years?
Oh, absolutely. That's not a problem at all. We're currently doing that with the Texas Travel Council and then another one of their partners. So that's not a problem to get done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ford? Oh, did you have any more questions, Evan?
Nope,
Okay.
I was just saying.
Mr. Ford.
Yeah, in terms of I'll call it the main room facility, classroom style, how many people can be seated with perhaps, if we're looking at a large space, how many people can be seated classroom style, and then with some areas out back and to the side for peripheral activities?
We can fit a good number of people in there, mainly for the halls. Let me pull up that information. So I have that right here.
We technically have up to I'm rounding up about 1,100 people. That would be on the main floor at any one time, and then there's going to be.
That shouldn't be a problem with the convention center if we're using predominantly part of Hull C. That one's well over 30,000 square feet. So classroom style in that space, we are looking at accommodations of 2,100.
Wow. Okay.
And just, yeah, so that's definitely doable between the halls.
Super.
Yes.
That's actually all I've got. I just, well, I've got a question to bring up to the body, independent of the folks from El Paso about all this. Stephen, other questions?
We have two hands up. One is from elected Libertarian, Mr. Ryan Woodcraft. If he's going to speak, I would need a member of the board to request.
I'll request
that's why
Okay.
my hand was raised to just request that you allow Mr. Woodcraft to speak.
All right. Barring any objection, Mr. Woodcraft, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, members of the LNC, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Clear.
Excellent. Thank you for recognizing me and allowing me to throw in my 2 cents. First off, thank you for considering our community. We're actually ecstatic to even make it to the top 3. The borderland region is funny enough. There are some lifelong Democrats that are excited to see the Libertarian Party come here in 2028. Our county affiliate is making a lot of headway. We've put in a lot of work over the past couple of years. We've worked really close with Josie and Destination El Paso over the past couple of weeks and offered any of our support to them. And one thing that on behalf of our chair, David Marino, and the entire executive committee of the El Paso County Libertarian Party affiliate, we want to offer our full support. So anything that you may need on the ground, if and when El Paso is chosen as your 2028 site, we will assist in saving you with travel costs and walk the grounds and take as many photos, videos, or any logistical work that you need on the ground as often as we can. Yeah, I don't want to belabor the point anymore. I know you have 2 more presentations to get to. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to working with you and bringing the Libertarian Party to El Paso in 28.
Thank you so much, Mr. Woodcraft. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Barajas and the El Paso event site? All right. Barring none, Josie, thank you so much. I appreciate your presentation. We'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Next up is going to be Richmond, Tom Uphold and Casey Armstrong. You have the floor.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to work on my share screen. One moment. Might have the same problem she did with sound. Here we go, share sound. I want to make sure that when I play my videos, they show up. Okay. Okay, can everyone see this and hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you all tonight. My name is Casey Armstrong. I'm the National Destination Sales Manager with Visit Richmond, Virginia, and I'm joined by my colleague, Tom Uphold. He is the Director of Sales and Marketing with the Greater Richmond Convention Center. We truly appreciate the chance to present Richmond as a potential host for your 2028 National Convention. Richmond is a city shaped by ideas, debate, and self-governance, and that legacy is not just historical. It's something that's still actively happening in the city today, which is why we believe Richmond offers a particularly relevant setting for your organization to host your event. This proposal was developed specifically around your convention scale and operational needs, as well as visibility goals. Tonight, our goal is to show you not only how Richmond works logistically, but why hosting your convention here will add context, credibility, and impact to your event itself. Oops, there we go. I'd love to present the team members that are actually going to be working on or helped work on this proposal with us. So, of course, myself and Tom Uphold, but then also Cheryl Knight, she's with the Richmond Marriott downtown, and Reagan Patrick, who's with the Hilton Richmond downtown. Between myself, the convention center, and our two convention hotel partners, you have direct access to experienced professionals who regularly support and work with our national conventions and politically focused events. While Cheryl and Reagan aren't here tonight, I do want to feature them as they'll be points of contact on the hotel sales side. So who are we? For those of you who may not be familiar with Richmond, we refer to ourselves as the Richmond region, which is made up of 7 unique jurisdictions, with the city of Richmond serving as the urban core in the heart of the destinations shown in orange right in the center. Across the region, we offer more than 22,000 hotel rooms, giving us scale to support large national events and future growth for conventions. For your event specifically, over 1,200 of those rooms are located within a 1-mile radius of the Greater Richmond Convention Center, creating a highly walkable and centralized downtown experience for your attendees. This balance of regional capacity with downtown concentration is something that our clients consistently tell us makes Richmond really easy to manage for their events. At a high level, Richmond offers 3 things that every national convention needs: location, versatility, and hospitality. But truly what differentiates us is context. This is a city where policy is not theoretical, it's debated, shaped, and decided here. Richmond is centrally located within a day's drive of half of the U.S. population. We sit at the intersection of I-95 and Interstate 64. They cross right in the heart of the city. We're the midway point between Florida and Maine, and we're served by 3 Amtrak stations, including one that's located right in the heart of downtown. We're only 2 hours south of Washington, D.C., 2 hours north of Raleigh, giving you great access to the nation's capital, Virginia's capital being Richmond, as well as the capital of North Carolina. The Richmond International Airport is consistently ranked among the most efficient airports in North America, with more than 150 daily flights and offering 38 nonstop destinations. It's easy for attendees to get here. And the airport is only 8 miles outside of downtown, where the convention center is located, just a 15-minute drive into the city. This map gives you a sense of how well connected Richmond is nationally to our international airport. Very heavy on the East Coast, Midwest, but we have many directs that go all the way out to the West Coast as well.
SkyNav, we did drone capture of the city of Richmond and surrounding jurisdictions that we represent. This is to give you a bird's eye view of the city of Richmond and the surrounding counties. As I go through this 360-degree view, some things that you'll notice are the James River, which runs right through the heart of downtown. This is the only urban environment in the country where you can do class 3 and 4 whitewater rafting in a cityscape. Some things I love to point out are the Richmond International Airport is located 6.6 miles from this location. And then I love to point out our Amtrak stop at Main Street Station, located right in downtown for ease of getting into the destination. This is also I-95 as well as Interstate 64 that interchange right in Richmond. I love to show this nighttime view so you can see what the city looks like as the sun is setting. To take you to our venues, I'm going to start with the Greater Richmond Convention Center located on 5th Street. It's located right across the street from our full-service Richmond Marriott downtown, as well as our full-service Hilton Richmond downtown. And then conveniently just behind there is our Virginia State Capitol, just 3 blocks away from these properties. As I go to the street level, you can see how convenient it is to get from these hotels over to our convention center. This is a skywalk that connects the Richmond Marriott downtown to our convention center. And then you can see that this is just across the street, right, all conveniently for your conference attendees.
This aerial view is one of the most important slides in the deck to me. Your convention hotels, the Greater Richmond Convention Center, and the Virginia State Capitol are all within just a few blocks of one another. And during your proposed 2028 convention dates, the Virginia General Assembly will be in session. That means that lawmakers, policy staff, advocates, and media will already be here in the destination, and your national convention will be taking place during an active state government. We're proud that Richmond can offer this level of proximity to real-time governance in such a compact, walkable downtown environment. I'd love to turn this over to my colleague Tom Uppel to talk to you about the Greater Richmond Convention Center.
Okay, now that I'm unmuted. So we have 178,000 continuous exhibit space. I think what we had proposed was 64,000 or 68,000 of that space. But also too, we have talk about your breakouts and your different things that you had going on through your RFP. So we are a non-union building also. And so we have a 30,000 square foot ballroom that we have slated in for some of your events. And then, like Casey was saying, there's a skywalk that connects to the Marriott that makes it really easy to get back and from each other. So just from that's a brief overview for the convention center. As that Casey finished, if you have questions, we can definitely go back and sort of answer some of those questions. She sort of mapped out just some of the space that we had marked in. As you can see, Exhibit Hall A is 67,000 square feet. So based on your RFP, we sort of thought it'd be better to break it down into two smaller rooms with the air wall for what you were looking for. And then the building does cover 6 city blocks, but there's 2 skywalks that go from building to building, so you actually never leave. You don't have to walk outside to go from one building to another one. So to your point, Steve, sometimes the candidates want to rent different space, they can be in some of those areas.
Thank you, Tom. So to talk a little bit more about our hotel partners, the Richmond Marriott Downtown would serve as your primary headquarter hotel. It's attached to the convention center via Skywalk, which allow your conference attendees to move between hotels and sessions without transportation needed, weather concerns, security concerns. This property offers 413 guest rooms, including 5 suites, along with multiple on-site dining and lounge options that support networking and informal meetings. So I know that their Starbucks, I know this was a question, their Starbucks opens at 6 o'clock in the morning and runs until 6 p.m. And then the Fall Line Restaurant and Bar is a 3 period. So it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner contiguous. And I know it stays open till midnight right now. I did hear from their sales team that they were looking to extend that until 2 in the morning, which is bar hours in Virginia. And then the other hotel that is proposing with our package is the Hilton Richmond Downtown. This is inside of a historic former department store called the Miller and Rhodes building, which adds character and variety to your options, but also you get both brands, the Marriott and the Hilton. This property has 250 guest rooms, including 15 suites, and it's located just steps from both the convention center and the 3 venues are all just blocks from the Capitol Square. I know that one of the questions that came up a lot was about nearby dining. So overview of Richmond and our dining options. We've been recognized nationally as one of the country's top food destinations with over 900 local restaurants throughout and over 40 breweries and wineries. This is our downtown dining map. So you can see Capitol Square where the Virginia State Capitol is, and this is the convention center right here in the gray. So you can see, and this is just at a high level, within just a couple blocks, you've got about 30 options that are directly adjacent to where your attendees would be staying. When your attendees are not in sessions, attendees can explore museums, historic sites, and cultural attractions. Many are located in downtown within walking distance. that map showed. These properties are also located on Broad Street, which is our main drag in downtown Richmond. We call this the Pulse. It runs 15 miles from one end into another jurisdiction. And we have a bus, which is called the Pulse, which is currently a free hop-on, hop-off bus that runs Broad Street solely and also has stops that include the convention center and the government center, but it also goes beyond downtown. So you can take it to other areas where museums are, where all the breweries are located. So if people do want to get to that, there's a free bus service that can take them. And also on Broad Street, right next to where the properties are, there's, of course, lots of dining, and then a couple of blocks around all the hotels. This is just to show a little bit more about Richmond.
Starting route to the Richmond region.
When you select Richmond, then you are definite with our destination services team, which works alongside you throughout the entire planning process. They can help you with community connections, corporate social responsibility opportunities, and marketing support alongside our local partners in the region, and they stay engaged from start to finish. A couple of things I'd love to mention with Tom is that as far as license fee meeting room rental, we have incentives that we're offering to make the meeting space complimentary after the rebates are intact, as well as no food and beverage minimum at the convention center. Well, thank you again for considering Richmond. We believe that your convention would be a great success in the capital city of Virginia while it's during the active General Assembly session and just blocks from the Capitol. We'd be honored to welcome you and also welcome any questions that you all have at this time.
A few questions for me, then we'll go around the room. What is the F&B minimum, and does that include the breakout sessions and other amenities? And also, what is your F&B, or excuse me, what is your gratuity as well?
So we're not setting any kind of F&B minimum. So there's not an F&B minimum you have to meet.
Okay.
So we're waiving that. And then the food, talking about the food gratuity for that.
Correct.
It is, I want to say it is 21. I mean, that's a part of their admin, but let me double check all that. Because I know a lot of times with Aramark is the food and beverage provider at the convention center. And so I know with their fees and taxes, it's just about 30%, but let me double check to get that clarification for you.
Okay. And what is the actual cost for the space for the convention hall and breakout area?
Well, the actual rack rate on this is $92,000, but between Richmond Region Tourism and the convention center, our goal is to net it out to zero for you through rebates and through discount.
Okay.
It's basically a situation, based on you get 1,500 room nights, which is sort of we sort of took a look at your numbers and tried to lean it in your favor as much as possible to get it past senior leadership. So it's like, hey, look, they've got to get this.
Okay. And then I'm assuming based on the hotels in the area, we could communicate whether, how many hotel room nights we need, which will probably be about 1,200 rooms, not including the room nights, but about 800 to 1,200, we'll say. We'll call it 1,000.
Yeah, the original
We'll probably be on
ask
the higher
from the
side.
proposal, I think the two hotels came in. You mean on peak, or are you talking about total room nights?
I'm talking of rooms availability.
I think the original information we had looked at was for 400 rooms on peak. So that's why we have the two hotels that have bid with us. But if we need to expand that, we can look further into downtown for additional properties.
Got it. Okay. And what are the nearest hotels after the Marriott that you are partnered with?
If you're looking for other convention, like bigger box hotels, we have a Delta property, which is a Marriott, which has 283 rooms. And we have a
Got it.
full service Omni, which has 369 rooms. But there's a number of other full service hotels that are nearby. Those are just the two largest ones that are close.
Okay. And I guess what I'm hearing is through the hotel contracts and whatever rebates, you're thinking basically there'd be zero expense for the convention center, hopefully. And then we'll just be discussing the room, the whatever our food and beverage purchase would be.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's for the rent. I mean, there's other ancillary costs, obviously stages and those kind of things, but the actual rent itself, Casey and I wrote, looking to do
For the
net it
event
out at
space.
zero.
Okay. And then as far as now, do you accept out of house AV?
So we do. If there's Encore is our in-house AV company, but you're welcome to bring in an outside AV company. But any rigging that's done inside the building, Encore does have to do that. But as far as like the actual production and stuff, that could be your team. But any rigging on the building has to be done by Encore.
So rigging, would that include stage setup and things like that?
Well, the stage setup goes through the building itself, but the rigging is talking about like hanging from the trusses, hanging from the ceiling, those kind of things. If it's ground support, that's not anything that your team could do that. But if it's hanging anything from the ceiling, Encore would need to do that.
Okay. And then what is the attrition rate for the 400 night hotel, the Marriott?
Both hotels offered 80% attrition.
Okay. And the Wi-Fi situation?
So we can sort of customize that, and that's what we've sort of done in the past. I know you were asking, like, we sort of want to see exactly what you need. We're not a smart city venue, so we can sort of customize to fit what you need, streaming wise, and just sort of go from there.
If you could get me Wi-Fi prices, because we're going to get it's going to be at least 1,000 devices connected. And that's not including the media. That's not including, vendors, et cetera. So let's say, 1,200 devices. What kind of bandwidth we have on the Wi-Fi? That would be important if you can get us some information on that as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, I'll get that to you in the morning. Yeah, we've had, just for a point of context, we've had over 20,000 people inside of our building for events at one time. So we have a pretty wide scope of capabilities for our internet, but I will get you the prices in the morning.
Okay, excellent. All right, then we'll bring it around the room. Mr. McMahon, and then Mr. Boss, then Mr. Ford. Mr. McMahon.
So I have my list of questions. How much is the government theft taxation on room rates?
So in Richmond, the tax comes out to be 16.3%.
And I don't think, just to stay on that for a second, I don't think we heard room rate numbers for the two hotels.
We were hoping to share that with you all directly after the call.
I think that would be open. I don't think that would be confidential for us, Mr. Chair. Am I wrong on that? I think that's something that we would normally have to discuss openly.
The board would definitely need that information to make a decision, and I think our members would want to know what they're dealing with as well. Is there Can that
It's
not,
just no, it's just a wide variety. So because they
Mhm.
tiered some of the pricing, so I was just trying to
We
not
just
make
want
it
to know what the base
complicated.
price is, the lowest price, because that's what our members really care about is what's the lowest, the rich folks like, our chairman, he can buy whatever. But we really look at the lower end for those room rates.
So the lowest rate that was offered was to match government per diem by the Hilton for a portion of their block. Currently, I don't know what it'll be in 2028. Currently, that's 157 in the city of Richmond. But then the rates varied from there on up into 204 plus tax per night.
And was that both venues? Or was that just the one?
Yeah, both of them. So the Marriott came in their attendee rate at 204, their staff rate at 199. Then the Hilton did a portion at government per diem, and then they did their attendee rate at 199 for the additional rooms beyond the per diem.
Gotcha. Okay. Firearms in Richmond and carrying around.
Open carry state, Tom, facility wise.
Facility wise, that would just have to be a discussion. I've talked to our general manager at AGM. Overall, the policy within the building, just from our management company, is no, but they said it's open for discussion based on the situation of the event.
I believe our members would want the option to be able to carry within in all facilities if we can, if that's on the table. Accessibility in hotels would like to find out and get confirmation that there are hotel rooms that are fully accessible, not just handrails, but actually roll-in shower, not walk-in shower, but wheelchair roll-in shower accessible.
Yes, I'll have to double check on that detail. I know they have ADA rooms. I just want to get the specifics for you.
Yeah, because people can say ADA and that can just mean handrails, but we do have people who are in wheelchairs that need to be able to roll into a shower and be able to move around their hotel room in a wheelchair. And then the suites, we saw the list of the suites. And then subcontracting, I think you heard my question earlier on moving forward, we may need to break the contract apart to have part of it the responsibility of a third party that would be working with us, but they would have to be responsible for it. Is that something that we can do?
I think that's definitely something that's workable. We would just have to do like an addendum to where you release the space and then they contract it type.
We actually can't do that. That was why I was very specific in it is they have to be responsible for it. We legally can't be subleasing it to them.
Well, you wouldn't be you would be just releasing it. Like they would have, I mean, who would be paying for it? They would?
They would. Yeah.
So I think that's much like El Paso, that's a discussion we could definitely work out over the next 2 years.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it's on the table that we can try to work it out. I think the rest of my questions, actually, the one other question that I had was it's great that we're trying to zero out, net zero on the convention space. There's no food and beverage minimum. What's the metric that we're using for success to zero the convention space, the room rental fees? What are we looking at to make that happen?
For us, it's room nights. Sorry,
Okay.
Tom, I didn't know you were talking.
No. Like Casey said, we're basing it on room nights for our portion of it. And well, Casey, I guess you are too, so I'll let you answer that.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to be offering it in a rebate type way. So it's based upon actualized room nights. So it can obviously grow. The bigger the convention, obviously can grow. And then Tom has a minimum room night associated with his discount portion, which is 1,500 actualized total room nights.
Okay, so that's on Tom's portion. What is it on your portion then?
Ours, yeah, so ours is a $22 rebate. So per actualized room night. So if you did 2,200 times $22, it comes out to be about $49,000. And his equates the other half. If you remember, he mentioned his rack rate. So it's about him taking on 50%, us taking on the other 50%.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Mr. Bost and Mr. Ford. Mr. Bost?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm going to touch back on the firearms question. In 2021, Virginia passed the localized gun control possibilities. Do any of those, or where around parks or say special events or parades, the local cities could pass ordinances to ban firearms? Do you see any of that spilling into our operating area?
That's a question that we can definitely research for you. I know that I haven't really heard anything on that end. But Casey, I can definitely take a look at that and see.
Yeah, thank you. And for the group, the concern there would be something that might pop up without too much advance warning, or an area that would normally be open is now suddenly closed.
Yeah, we can look into that. Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Ford?
Okay, you answered my question already about the proximity of restaurants. By the way, is a restaurant called Havana 59, I think it was called, is that still open?
Yes, it is. So if you want Cuban cigars for business.
Yeah, our chair might find great interest there. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm closer to Cuba than the nearest Walmart, so.
You guys also had a thing with, like, I went to a couple of restaurants that had baked spaghetti. It sounded weird, but it was incredibly good.
Sounds yummy.
And then the Quaker Meeting House. I've actually attended services there. But anyway, to the point, in terms of classroom style seating for the venue, we have our delegate count is going to be somewhere between, and it's going to be a presidential year, so this is going to be a hectic year for us. Going to be between 900 and 1,100 people that we're going to need to see classroom style. How many folks can sit classroom style on your floor as it's broken up? And then we love to have little extra spaces here and there, nooks and crannies, where people can meet or people can, we have some convention functions that have to take place in terms of vote counting and things like that. So what's the layout there?
So the space that we have blocked off, say for your main session type thing, is 34,000 square feet. So if we did a classroom in there, we can get up to 2,000. Like I said, we only proposed 2 of our 4 X halls, so we still have 2 other halls to play with. If the convention grows, so we still have other rooms to play with it, and hopefully it does grow.
Okay, no, that is my main concern per se. And you're saying this is the first time, by the way, that we're having a February convention in many, many, many years, and it's to accommodate our presidential candidate. We're nervous about weather. It's a trade-off we're making. What, in terms of having to go outside, to go between venues, you mentioned that the facility itself is multiple city blocks. What's the relationship geographically between the between the Marriott and other hotels and the actual convention space?
So, Casey, you want me to answer it, or do you want to answer it?
I got it. I just didn't know if one part of it was about the building itself. Okay, so as far as the convention center is concerned, it is connected to the Marriott, so that's an interior pathway. And then the Hilton is across the street. The other hotels that we might have to consider, depending upon how many room nights you might need, they might be within a couple of blocks. And if we need to talk about transportation options, we can certainly do that. I can tell you that in February, average weather, you're looking at highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s. That's kind of the average weather in the region.
And what is the temperature there right now?
Well, today is a beautiful day. So let's see. It is
54
55
degrees.
degrees. Yep, 55 in
Okay.
Richmond right now.
All right, great. And something I didn't ask the other folks, I should have. The cost of transportation between Richmond Airport and the convention center and I should say the Marriott, the main hotel.
Yep. So it's about a 15-minute drive outside of downtown. So an Uber is going to cost you about $25.
Okay.
So it's not anything too outrageous.
All right.
And of
And you're
course, if we had to do a bigger group, so we talked about, 1,200 rooms on peak, even larger than the 400. As soon as we get to more than a couple of hotels, we start talking about us covering transportation and taking on the cost for a group of that size.
okay. And again, unfairly, I didn't ask the other folks this. I'm slipping here. Your relationship with local media, as far as connections to them, whether it be the local tourist authority, things like that. Can you get us close to local media? It's a presidential year
Absolutely.
deal.
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what we're here for, to make those connections. We have a full service marketing and PR department, but then also, through our organization relationships within the government and media to make those introductions.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Is there any further questions from the committee? All right. Well, hearing none, Mr. Uphold and Ms. Armstrong, thank you so much for your presentation. If if all presenters could please send some of the information that we requested to us or to Mr. Ford so we can disseminate it amongst ourselves as soon as possible, that would be fantastic. And Ms. Barajas, you have your hand raised? Josie, did you wish to speak?
I apologize. The microphone on my laptop is not working, so I'm comboing it between this and my phone, and it didn't want to pull up. I just wanted to touch base. I know Pat had those two questions. In regard to getting to downtown, you're maybe going to pay $10 to $15 for an Uber, if not less. And then the main hotel does have a shuttle that will pick you up and drop you off to the hotel. So just the main point I wanted to touch base on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I don't believe anybody from Fresno bothered to show up. So according to the agenda, we will be moving to an email ballot via OPVOTE, which will conclude within 48 hours of its start.
Mr. Chair.
And yes, Mr. McMahon.
Actually, the second item was for us to have a board discussion.
Oh, I apologize. Okay. So okay. Well, in that case, I'm assuming it's public's discussion. So
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and open the floor to any discussion while our presenters are still here and amongst ourselves as the LNC.
And I would say you guys don't have to stay because we're not going to be asking questions to you. This is just a discussion between the board members, what our thoughts and feelings are. But it's a public meeting, so.
It's whatever you guys want to do. I mean, but if you do have a discussion, if you have questions that come up after that, please send them to Casey. Sorry, Casey, I'm throwing that. I'm just.
Pat, do you mind? Maybe it'd be wise we can even send the really it should all be directed through the convention committee anyway. But I'm sure if anybody has any questions, you can go through Pat and then go to the speakers. Mr. Boss, go ahead.
Yes. Has anyone been in a lot of contact with the Fresno group? Is that something we need to still consider?
I can answer
Pat,
that. I can answer
Oh,
that.
Mr. Go ahead.
So that was an interesting situation. They were the only people that
I lost you, Mr.
cut out.
We can't hear you, Mr. McGee.
Sorry, I get it. My internet's shit. Oh, me now.
Would you like to dial in through Josie's phone?
Oh, good Lord. Okay, can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you now.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay, good, awesome.
Just good
It's like an
talking.
Okay.
AT&T commercial.
So the Frisco the people with Frisco submitted two separate bids, one for President's Day weekend and one for a date in April. And it turns out that between the time we notified them that they were finalists and now, it turns out they no longer have availability for President's Day weekend. And so that's not going to be a possibility. So that's probably also why they did not show up.
Thank you.
I would like to take a moment and thank Mr. McGee for his efforts on collating and collecting all this information. Went through a lot of proposals. He came up with metrics, did a lot of research. So I just I want to acknowledge that. And I look forward to adding more work to him in the near future.
Mr. McMahon?
So I've got a couple thoughts and feelings here. The first one is if we did select Richmond, it's a damn shame we don't have a building there anymore. That could have been very synergistic for us to, have that. But that's spilt milk under the bridge type of thing. Looking at the two proposals, I do like the El Paso 40K food and beverage minimum. And that just by hitting that food and beverage minimum, we know we're getting everything else free. Obviously we're going to hit a 40K F&B. I don't think we've ever in my lifetime had less than that.
The bar might hit that.
Yeah, exactly. So the variable with the room rates, it's hard to tell because we can't control people, doing what Airbnb or the budget hotel that's on the other side of the city, or I have friends in Crystal City. It's a trip, it'd be a drive, but that could be worth it for me. So having it based off of our room attrition rate, it kind of bothers me from a fiscal standpoint, because that's a metric that we've come close before to not hitting room rates. That's always a fear, knowing that this is tied to the food and bev that we're going to hit. I like that a lot better. There's some security in that and knowing that. Also, it's, there's some up in the air stuff there. The other thing is, you know, while I just said I'm concerned about the hitting the room attrition rate, also only having the 663 rooms plus suites available at the two hotels, I think that's significantly below peak day where we would be. That's typically around 800 or so, which would hurt us if people are going to further away off sites because they can't get rooms right there with us. Taxes are a little higher there. As I think it was Mr. Boss pointed out, there is the uncertainty of could the city council invoke a no guns policy even temporarily. That is a concern. So those are all concerns that I think we should be, taking into account. I do think that both proposals are actually really good. I'm nitpicking here a little bit because we have two fairly good proposals. I looked through the history of the weather in Richmond because everybody's knee-jerk reaction is, God, no, it will be freezing. But it's actually really, like, historically, it's not that bad. They got pounded a little bit this winter. This last storm, I think, dropped 8 inches. But who's going to complain about 8 inches? Um, Everywhere else in the country got much worse. Um, so that's kind of where my thoughts and feelings are on it. Um, yeah, so that's where I'm at. Thanks.
Thank you. And my notes say El Paso 17.5% taxes. Richmond 16.3. I think I got that right. It's not a huge difference. I know some states require that the sales tax be applied to the gratuity. I know that's the case in Florida. I would ask if both the Richmond folks and the El Paso folks can confirm if sales tax is included on the gratuity and how much that ends up being.
You are right, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
For some reason, I had 13% written down, and that was what I was going
Gotcha.
to. It does say 17.5. So
Gotcha.
they are higher on the room rate government theft.
I do appreciate the El Paso rooms being clustered somewhat together. I would like to know from the Richmond team how many room nights, to get to that peak room rate we were talking about, somewhere between 800 to 1,000 at least. How far away are what is the room rate, and does that factor at all into the zeroing out as far as rebates is concerned? Seems like Wi-Fi is available at the Richmond. We don't know the price just yet. We're going to find out tomorrow. El Paso, it's included, which is simple. And as far as either location, we'll have to discuss, in terms of breaking down the contracts into what the third party is going to handle and what the LNC is going to handle for the events, for the exhibition space. Both really good contracts. There is some information I'm going to be looking out for from the two venues, but other than that, I'll leave it up to everyone else to discuss. Mr. Ford.
Here, Nikhil, I just want you to know I just went through a drive-through Wendy's thinking of you. Okay.
I felt warm and special inside.
There you go. The wrap is excellent. Let's talk about the location politically. I love the idea. I love Richmond. I've spent a lot of time there over the years. You can probably tell. It's a great city, and again, both authors are great. And if they're on the phone still, I'd like to thank both of them for putting all the time that they did, and the enthusiasm too. That was great. I love the idea of a Texas convention for a bunch of reasons. First of all, I will say the weather. If we get snow in February in Texas, we're screwed anyway. So it eliminates any consideration of the weather whatsoever. I think El Paso, from what I've read, is there's real potential there for us as an organization to really make some noise. I think it's great that the El Paso folks stepped up and have already reached out to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And that none of this is any shade on Virginia, but I think we were due for a Texas convention. It got taken away from us by the JW Marriott in Austin, for those of us who are newer. And I think it's a great opportunity down there to go back down there. And its proximity to New Mexico and an important part of the country for us politically, I think needs to be considered. So thank you.
Mr. Redpath and Mr. Boss. Mr. Redpath?
Thank you. I am very intrigued by El Paso, and we are running a weather risk here, doing it President's Day weekend in so much of the country. But I really think the elephant in the room here is drivability. I really do. I think that the drivability of the Richmond location is vastly superior to the drivability of the El Paso location, and people are going to be locked into flying with some exceptions. But by and large, our membership is going to be locked into flying, and we don't know what'll happen to airfares, but what if airfares spike in the interim? That is something to not worry about, but be concerned about. I that is a major advantage for Richmond, and I think that could be really, really important to a lot of LP convention delegates.
Mr. Boss, then Mr. McMahon.
Oh, I just want to say, Otto wanted back in the room if he's trying to get in.
I already let him in.
Mr. McMahon, and then Mr. Dar.
So that is a question I didn't notice. And Mr. Dar, you probably know this. What is the closest airport to El Paso? And if it's too far away, can we get your commitment, Mr. Dar, to ferry people from that airport to the El Paso convention?
The Josie could probably say more, but the El Paso airport, I want to say, is around, what is that, 2 miles away?
But is it, how many hubs does it have? Or who's flying in there?
Oh, who's flying in there? Let me see. I just got the presentation sent over to me, so I'm trying to look at. I remember seeing that in there because I normally just fly Southwest there for less than $100.
Mr. Chair, can we recognize Ms. Barra?
Yes.
Gentlemen, so the airport is it's under 10 miles to get to the downtown.
Okay.
I think it's closer to like 6.
Okay.
And then you have every major airline there: United, Delta, Southwest, American. It's not tiny, but it's easy to navigate.
And I did look up on my end. It looks like Houston is the puddle hop from Miami. So I'm assuming that is the nearest regional airport.
There's a few depending on who you're flying with. So there's either Houston Hobby, Dallas Love, DFW, Austin, and then George Bush in Houston.
Does Southwest go to San Antonio, or am I mistaken there?
Oh, no, that's correct. Southwest is also another availability.
Mhm.
Mr. McMahon, did you have any further questions? No. Mr. Dar?
And did I hear correctly for Richmond, it was Encore that was their only AV option earlier? Was that the note that I had from Richmond? Okay.
Yes.
Well, can I answer? I don't want to just speak out of turn.
Go ahead, Mr. Uphold.
Encore is the one in the building. We have several AV companies that we can put you in touch with locally. They're just the one that is the preferred, but we have 2 other AV companies in the area that do a lot of business inside the center that we can definitely get you in touch with.
So we wouldn't be restricted to Encore?
Not unless it's rigging, not unless you're hanging stuff from the ceiling.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I didn't do one.
Just wanted to clarify it. I was making sure I heard.
All right. Is there any further discussion by the body?
I would say just, looking at Expedia from Indianapolis, which, is going to be a kind of a bellwether for most of the Midwestern states. From Indianapolis to El Paso, there are no direct flights. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. Most of them have 2 stops. No, that's not true. I've got quite a few 1-stop options here, so that's good. And they look like they're around $400. Now I'm pricing this. I did it for, in April of this year. So just moved it a little bit out. because you're not going to be able to look at 2028. But it looks like the average pricing is around $400 to $500 round trip from the Midwest.
Okay.
Richmond, I plan if we do Richmond, I'm taking the train. I love that train ride. Which would be significantly more than the flight. Just FYI. Trains are not cheap.
Yeah, it looks like just from my lookup, anywhere where you can get to Houston, St. Ann, or DFW on a direct flight, or at least from my perspective, it seems like Houston for me on the East Coast in Florida. You're taking another stop to there to get to El Paso, kind of like Reno. You had to stop in Las Vegas, or for me, you went from to Houston and then California and then Vegas and then Reno. But okay, all right. If there's no further discussion, then I believe the next agenda item is simply acknowledging the vote structure. Is that
We would
we'll have to vote on that?
It'd be a motion
Okay.
it'd be moved to vote in that method.
Okay.
But it could be without objection.
Gotcha. Is there Mr. Ford, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, given the fact that folks have made informational requests of both Richmond and El Paso, should we extend the vote to 3 days?
Well, we will be adopting, so this next item will be a motion. If it is moved and seconded, we can move on to discussion. And then if anybody would like to make it 3 days, they're more than welcome to do so.
I could also delay sending out the vote by 24 hours. Because the vote has to remain open for 48 hours.
So we don't want to do it today.
I mean, I could wait 24 hours.
Could I move it by OPA vote or by email ballot?
It is by OPA vote.
OPA vote. Perfect. Yeah.
So
I would move that by OPA vote.
Okay, so we have a motion. Mr. Morton, did you want to move the motion that's currently there and then it can be discussed and
Yeah, before I finish, this does 3 days sound good to everybody?
I would just leave it at the 2 and the secretary pledges to not start it for 24.
With the understanding that it won't start for 24 hours from now, then I would move that an OPA vote be open for 48 hours after the 24-hour period to determine the question.
So the motion that was included in the notice, the motion was to vote via OPA vote, keep it open for 48 hours, requires a majority vote. If no one achieves a majority vote, it moves to a second round of voting where the lowest vote getter is dropped off. But it does include all 3 locations.
you would need to move it as presented in the agenda, but then it can be discussed and amended later. So
is that a point of order?
Well, no, I mean, are you moving it that way, Mr. Martin?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Martin moves the motion. There's a second. We're now into discussion. I see some hands raised. We'll go to Mr. Ford, then Mr. McGee, and then Mr. Martin. Mr. Ford.
Like I said,
Okay.
I love the secretary's approach to this. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McGee.
We can't hear you,
Right.
Mr. McGee. There you go.
Sorry, I was on mute. So given that Frisco's not really in consideration anymore, I would like to amend that to only consider El Paso and Richmond, which eliminates the need for any potential further voting after the initial round.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the amendment?
I think that makes sense.
Sorry,
hearing no objection.
Repeat the proposed amendment.
So the amendment would
dropping
strike,
Frisco.
The amendment would strike Frisco, so it would only be 2 options, and it would also strike the if no one getting a majority moving to a second ballot, because with only 2 options, you're going to have a majority.
Having not had full time to consider everything that's been presented, I think I would object to that because there's no reason not to just include it. Is there?
They didn't make a presentation. We don't, and
Oh,
they're,
they didn't make
they're not
I'm
available.
sorry.
Right.
I was not present at the first part of this meeting because I was in the Senate hearing. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Frisco did not come to the meeting and they actually retracted their offer for President's Day weekend in February of 2028. So we
I'm not
could vote
surprised.
yes for them, but we would end up with no convention if we did.
Frisco. It wasn't meant to be.
Mr. Hirsch?
Don't forget that NODA is always on the ballot, so it might not be a majority.
That actually would be true. NOTA would be on there automatically, so a member could reject both presentations, and then we would be back at square one if that happened. So actually, I think maybe the motion,
Wouldn't submitting the ballot but not selecting anything be a NOTA?
that'd be an abstention. It's not the same. NOTA is a vote against both. Abstention could be because, you work for the El Paso hotel.
Would you like to make an amendment to the amendment?
I would move to keep the majority vote clause back in, but still striking Fresno. So I would move it to only strike Frisco.
Second.
As long
All
as
right,
NOTA is preserved, we should definitely preserve NOTA. Thank you. Mr. Hirsch.
Any discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Any objection? Hearing none, the amendment is amended. We're now back onto the amendment. Is there any further discussion? Is there any objection to the amendment? Hearing none, the amendment passes. We're on to the main motion and back onto discussion.
To clarify, the main motion is to move to an OPA vote for the site selection for the 2028 LNC convention. The options are El Paso, Texas, and Richmond, Virginia. The vote shall remain open for 48 hours via OPA vote. A majority is required. If no majority is reached, move to a second ballot with the lowest vote getter being removed.
All right, that's the motion. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing no objection, motion passes. I believe that's the end of our, yes, well.
If
NOTA technically, yeah, go ahead.
NOTA can't get, no, it's probably too late to object, but NOTA doesn't get kicked off the ballot.
No, NOTA never gets kicked off the ballot.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything, as you guys already know that.
Question for the body, just as a secretary doing the thing here. Do you guys want me to send this out tomorrow night? Or would you want me to start the vote Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern?
I think there's some questions that we want to get back from the both convention sites.
So maybe give it a little bit more time, Wednesday or Thursday morning, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that will start the 48-hour clock. Ms. Robson, sorry, I'm not in charge of this meeting. I apologize. I just started calling on people. Sorry, Stephen.
Well, technically, Ms. Robson and Mr. Koffel, is this because technically the orders of the day have us at adjournment? Is this something that we can discuss after the call is over? Or is this a point of okay, I see hands going down. All right. So the next item is adjournment. The chair is now
move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection? All right, hearing none, we're adjourned at 9:05 p.m. Thank you so much to our presenters, and thank you everybody on the LNC. Expect a ballot sometime over the next day and a half.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.